Hello and welcome back to Stream On. I am Hollis James from Pop Culture Graveyard. With me is Eila Mel from Behind the Awards. We have joined forces weeks ago with Stream On, where we bring you all of the things that we're watching that are on these streaming services at any given time. And this week we are bringing you Stick. It sounds like a porno.
It really does. I mean, that was my way in.
Yeah, that's how I got you excited about it,
That's
actually.
right.
Are you enjoying Stick?
Well, I finished Stick, so yes.
You finished Stick so far.
Oh, right. Yes. Is it coming back? Do we know?
Well, there's another episode tomorrow.
Oh. So
This is an ongoing series.
I thought that it was done.
That's a great series where it just leaves you on enough of a cliffhanger in one episode where you think the season's over.
That's right. I did. So yes, I am enjoying it. On paper, I wouldn't necessarily think that I would like this show.
Yeah, this hit me in a similar way to Ted Lasso, where I was like, oh, it's a sports show. I'm not going to like it. It's going to be bro humor. It's going to be like, kind of juvenile. It is not. It has a heart. It's about people. It's about grief. It's about second chances. It's got a lot going for it.
It does. The cast is really good.
Yeah, Owen Wilson, the butterscotch stallion. You got no complaints.
No, but I don't know a lot of people in the cast. I, of course, know Owen Wilson and Mark Maron, Judy Greer.
Right.
The rest of them are kind of new to me.
Yeah, it was nice seeing Judy Greer again.
Yeah.
There was a while she was like the best friend in an awful lot of like indie things.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mark Maron is fantastic as Mitz, the old caddy who is dragged back into service by Owen Wilson's character Stick.
Right.
Should I give like a little bit of an overview?
Yeah, I guess in case people haven't watched yet, let them know what this is about.
Okay. Owen Wilson plays an over-the-hill golfer nicknamed Stick. His real name is Price. And he kind of is at the end of his rope when we open. He's a golf pro at a country club. He's just going through the motions. He's still in the same house that his divorced wife left him in. After 3 years, she's trying to kick him out so they can sell it. And his life changes when he hears the sound of a club hitting a ball, and he knows that's a pro. That's the kind of crack of the bat that scouts talk about in baseball, where something special happened. And the ball was hit by this kid, Santiago Wheeler, Santi. He is just like, I don't know what he is. They don't even say. I'm guessing 17 or so.
Yeah, he's definitely young.
Yeah, and he's just this prodigy. And Stick convinces his mom to let him turn pro, and they're on this journey together. Mom too, which is fantastic. I've only seen that actor. Is she, let me get her name.
Yeah, I don't know who she is.
Mariana Trevino plays Elena. And I only saw her in this Tom Hanks film. It's based on a book, A Man Called Ove. They changed it to like A Man Called Otto or something. And she's like the neighbor who kind of is keeping his spark of life alive. Right. But that's the only thing I've seen her in.
And the actress who plays the new caddy, I've seen her in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, Lily Kay.
Okay.
She plays Zero.
Yes.
This kind of gender fluid, kind of fight the patriarchy character who just gets better and better as the episodes go on. And she's kind of totally Team Santi. And then Owen Wilson, he always plays this indomitable, all good vibes, positive character. Right. In everything pretty much. And I love that. He kind of brings her onto his team by teaching her how special Santi is and that she owes it to his talent to help Price help him.
Right. And she's the only one that he listens to. So she's important to this whole process.
Yeah.
Because he's done with Owen Wilson. He gets really upset with him.
Yeah, Owen, unfortunately, unbeknownst to him, crossed an invisible line where he was almost echoing the things Santi's dad used to say.
Right, which wounded him so much that he gave up golf.
Yeah. So, but Zero is of two minds about it because she knows it's for the greater good, but she's also deceiving Santi. He thinks the words coming out of her mouth are her own, and they're
Right.
really Price's.
Yeah. And the whole way that she came on board, it was a manipulation by Price.
Yeah. Yeah. He even played out a whole scenario, which Mitz saw through, knowing him as well as he does. He knows it's all he's running game, but Santi thinks it was his decision. And it's great because it comes on the heels of Owen Wilson making bets with two other guys, one in a bar, one in like before a tournament. And the key to it is to get the guy think that he's the one making the bet and to have him say the words, "Come on, tough guy, let's go." And he gets Santi to do it, bringing Zero on. And it's kind of icky.
Yeah.
I see now on IMDb, there's 10 episodes listed for all the characters. So that must be season one. We're
Okay.
like, what, 5 episodes in, I think?
It feels like more, but I could
It
be wrong.
feels like more, which is a testament to the show, I think. A
Right,
lot
because
of things happen.
story so much that I thought it was wrapped up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And they do try to leave you on a bit of a cliffhanger every episode, which is a thing now, no matter what you're watching. But yeah, I pushed for us to do this show. You agreed to it, and I was like, oh, cool, she's going for this. And then I was instantly scared. I'm like, maybe I'm seeing things that aren't here. But I really love the heart of this. That's what keeps me going. It's not the comedy, that's like the sugar. It's really got a heart, and that's what I'm responding to.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like a comedy that much. I guess it is overall, but even the scene where Mark Maron gets stuck in the bed, he gets stuck under a bed. Even that's not obviously funny. The premise is funny, but the way it plays out is not especially funny.
Yeah, they could have played that totally over the top for laughs, and we could have seen the firefighters in there with the jaws of life, and it could have been like a Marx Brothers film.
And I'm so glad it's not
I'm
because
so glad it's not.
and the mother, she's so smart in every situation and she's really, she has her son's best interest in mind. But she's tough. I love that.
She is tough, and that's a perfect example of what this show does well. It uses the Mark Maron trapped in a bed scene to bridge the gap
Yeah.
between his character and her character of Elena. And even before that scene, when I was watching, I told my wife, I'm like, those two are going to hook up. They're going to find love together on this tour. I think they might be headed that way because they start out just kind of barking at each other and like, why is he here? Why is she here? And then they're kind of getting more comfortable with each other. And Mark Maron was hating her dogs. And then you see he's like got a dog on his lap at one point. He's feeding water to the dogs another point, and she takes notice. It's just they're becoming a family. And I
Yeah.
think you know as well as I do after all these years, the best families are the ones you pick yourself.
Well, right. Because, sometimes the ones we're born is
Yeah.
problematic.
Sometimes you find the ones you're born to mystifying.
Yeah.
Like I like that this is kind of a redemption story for Price, Stick, Cahill,
Mhm.
but that's just on the surface. And it's a beautiful thing, even if you just view it as that. He's finding his love of golf again through this kid. And that's what's behind all the reaction videos on YouTube, where you've exhausted a band's catalog and you get to see them again through fresh ears from someone who's never even heard of them. And I get pissed off all the time. I'm like, really? You made it to adulthood without hearing Led Zeppelin? Fuck you. But my grouses aside, it's really beautiful seeing him see golf through Santi's swing.
Okay, so let's talk about golf itself. Does this story have to be told through could it have been any other sport?
He could have been an ex baseball player or tennis player or anything, I think.
I feel like it can't be a team sport. He could be a bowler.
That's
He
a
could
good
be
point.
You know,
A runner.
right. I feel like it has to be something where there's no, like they have to be the family. The team can't be the family.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, that's
Because,
true.
you know,
Because the way Santi is drawn, he's very much a loner.
right, right. And he needs this father figure. If there was a coach of a team, it would take the place of Price.
Yeah. And I wonder, given Santi's personality, if he even has any friends. Because we saw him at the job where he worked that he quit to go on the tour, and he wasn't interacting with those coworkers. We see him in his room a lot on his music
Right.
with posters on the wall, and he kind of, you get the sense he lives in there a lot. And then the friends he hangs out with at the quarry, there's Zero's friends.
Well, I think Friends is a new thing for him. I think through Zero, he's becoming, a more rounded person.
Yeah, I get that impression.
I think he had just sort of given up, much in the same way that Owen Wilson's character had sort of given up in
Yeah.
life because he was disappointed by his father. Owen Wilson was disappointed by his career. And I feel like
Hmm.
the parallels between the two there.
Right. What do you think of the actor who's playing Santi, Peter Dager?
I think he's great. I've never seen him before. Is that him playing golf?
I would think it has to be.
Right? It seems like
Yeah.
it is. So I wonder, did they cast a golfer? Did they make a point?
Ooh, man.
I don't know.
He's a little too pretty for me to
You
think
think?
that he's, yeah. And he's got the whole, he's like, he's a good looking guy, and he's obviously Latino, at least somewhere in him. The way he speaks, it's so natural. And if he's not, he's a hell of an actor. I also like in general that they made him a Latino character, and his mother is around for the ride.
Mhm.
And the world of golf, they could have easily whitewashed this entire fucking thing. And instead, you have these Hispanic characters. You have Zero, who is kind of gender fluid. There's some cool shit going on.
Right, where you wouldn't normally expect that from a sports show.
Yeah.
For me, golf is one of those sports that is a lot more user friendly. Like team sports, I don't really like, but I could watch golf. And I like video golf a lot. So I feel like I know how to play golf
I
because I'm
could see that.
very good at video golf.
Oh,
But
that's great.
so for me, it's a very watchable sport.
It's peaceful. It's
It is.
relaxing. It's
It is.
zen.
Right. But also, I do see shades of, and this is kind of a stretch, but I feel it, of Buttermaker from Bad News Bears and Owen Wilson.
It's true. It's true. But the funny thing is, he's Buttermaker in his personal life.
Right,
But so
exactly.
far, I haven't seen anything about him that disrespects the game of golf, or he's not cracking open beers on the back nine.
No, he
Uh,
loves golf.
he does. It's the one pure thing in his life, and I think and to just get into the sadder part of the story, the one pure thing in his life was ruined because with the death of his child, Jet, he kind of went in a downward spiral. And they hint at the fact that someone else on the tour, another golfer, said some evil shit to him involving the death of his kid that made him melt down and like break his clubs and freak out. And we might even see at some point, they might be saving it. It feels like they're slow playing back that video.
Yeah. What about the scene where Mark Maron tells Santi's mother about that? That was, that's a scene that you don't normally see.
I love it.
Normally, you would see like a big blowout, and she said, "Well, you never had kids," and he would have said something in that scene. But it was
Yeah.
done so much more the way it would happen in real life. I think.
Yes, very realistic. And he's too wounded to clap back. And
Mhm.
he's buried it down so deep that he doesn't clap back. And Mitz knows enough to just kind of, all right, that's how you want to play it? Cool. And let it sit there because she moved on. And later, it's so perfect. He uses the communication wheel. He finds a quiet moment to let her in on it. And because she's such a good person, she's almost crippled with that news. She feels terrible,
I
as you
think it
would.
changes everything for her, the way she sees him in general.
Yes. And the fact that I don't think she said it in that scene, but I think she'll get there. She'll see that his love for Santi is kind of related to that in a weird way. It's a second chance. And Mitz points out Jet would be about Santi's age right now.
Mm.
It hits hard. And for someone like me who has and does deal with grief on a
Mhm.
regular basis and all forms of grief, survivor's guilt, and different shades of grief, it hits realistic.
It's very realistic. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, over the top realistic, right?
So
Well,
much so that you don't view it as a comedy almost.
no,
As you
sure.
said.
Exactly. Because people don't make grand statements most of the time, right? I mean, I could count on one hand the times that's happened in real life.
Yeah.
But, most of the time people let things go and they don't say something.
For the greater good
Or just because,
or just because.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't want to get into a whole thing,
Yeah, right.
like that.
But TV is, heightened reality. So you always have these confrontations, but this isn't. This is, done in a very, very smart way.
And just in general, let's just talk a second about what comedy has come to mean now. Comedy has come to be this farcical thing, this Brooklyn Nine-Nine kind of, I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Are those the numbers?
Yeah.
I don't watch it, but like these, even The Office and things that are just like, you're watching a comedy, like this constant winking and this farcical stuff. I know it's upsetting. And it's really this kind of like over the top thing that allows no room for things like grief, things like actual sadness. You mentioned Buttermaker. Movies in the 70s and TV shows in the 70s, comedy existed in real life. It came from real situations, and the comedy, as in real life, is a pressure release, it's a release valve. And so you appreciate it more when it rescues you from uncomfortable things. And so if you never have uncomfortable things or sadness in a comedy, like in MASH or Barney Miller or Cheers, where there's not moments that make characters real, where they're not crying and like, I joke, but I love my wife. And like, then is Norm funny?
Right. Yeah.
Like it's just sad, some of these one-dimensional characters. So I appreciate that Stick is bringing us a whole emotional palette.
Yeah, I don't think that it's a bad thing that we don't know if it's comedy or not.
Right.
It reminds me of the Emmy categories, right? Where if something's a half hour, it's a comedy. If something's an hour, it's a drama. And it's so silly. Like The Wonder Years was never a comedy.
No.
So it's in that sitcom category because it's a half hour.
Yeah. The awards requisites are like such bullshit. Like Where the Bear can be a comedy.
Right.
So having it be time limits is even more absurd.
I know. So I mean that's an antiquated view, I guess. But that's what it was for forever until maybe now, until maybe because of streaming, it's different. The rules are just out the
Yeah. Isn't comedy also lumped in with musical?
door. In some awards,
In
yes.
some awards, like,
But like I remember one year Evita was up for best musical or comedy, and it's not a comedy.
I'd love to know what comedy it was up against. Like, just that's
Jesus Christ Superstar is not a comedy. But yeah,
uh,
it's compared, so I don't know.
wow.
There's so many things that we could re-examine and we just accept because, no one's questioned it, but like why do we have best actor and best actress? Why is gender a thing in acting? I get it
Yeah.
in sports where, just natural strength is a question, but it's just and I don't care. I don't care if it stays actor and actress. It doesn't bother me, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
view it that way.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. You'd either have to get super hyper specific or just erase all boundaries,
Right.
you know?
I guess it's just a way to give out more awards, really.
Right, right. But yeah, I think now my favorite shows blur the lines between what it is and what it isn't.
Yeah.
And genre wise, like I've come to look for a little bit of everything in the things that I watch,
Well, we're
you know,
spoiled because things are so much better now. We are able to get more than one thing in something.
especially now. I don't remember it ever being like this. And I don't know about you, but I find myself when I jump into a new series or show or movie, repeating the phrase, who's this for?
Yeah.
Why do I want to watch this?
So
Who am I supposed to root for?
yeah.
Like, I, it's unrelentingly sad, a lot of things. And there's no like give me a few wins sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, the old days, I'm going back only 10 years. In the old days, I used to get a little sugar with my salt. And now it just seems like they don't give characters victories anymore. They're just like, how much worse can we make it for this character? And
Well, I
then,
think because things are so long, because every series feels like it has to be over, 8 or 10 episodes, where they could probably tell the story in an hour or two. And that would
yeah,
be the best form of storytelling for that particular thing. But we don't get that because now everything has to be dragged out. So, there needs to be all these ups and downs.
right. This raises another thing with regard to what I look for and stuff. Oftentimes, there's this high concept stuff, and there's a clear goal in mind. Like, there's a mad bomber on the loose, or something that we have to catch this serial killer. So I don't know why I'm only doing police procedurals, but something like Stick kind of reinforces that there's enough drama in human interaction and the journey of people discovering themselves together.
Well, I think, yes, what's good about Stick is that it's not afraid of simplicity. And it doesn't need like a show that we talked about doing, but we decided to do Stick instead, The Better Sister. I watched the whole thing, and then the last episode, it was a whole different show. I felt like they went in like a
Mm.
crazy direction where it didn't need to be that. And I'm thinking, why did they do that? I really just didn't get it. And sometimes shows do that. They feel like they have to throw everything into the finale.
They also feel like they have to tie everything up in a bow
Hmm.
a lot of times.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like I'm hearing with The Better Sister, it can sometimes feel like a cheat,
Hmm.
and you feel like they kind of almost lied to you through the whole thing,
Right.
which is fascinating because I had brought up doing The Better Sister. And so now I find out why you didn't want to do it.
No, the reason I didn't wait, the reason that I didn't want to do it is because one of the executive producers and writers is someone that we went to school with. And I felt like I would just, I don't know,
Ooh,
rather not.
okay. All
He's a
right.
really
I
good
hear
friend
you.
of mine. So I feel like, oh,
Oh, okay.
we don't do
I
that.
got you. Well, you know what? Maybe that person was fighting the good fight against what happened and was overruled.
I still think it was a good series. And I don't think
Yeah.
she wrote the finale, but she wrote a bunch of the episodes.
Okay. Well, those are the ones we liked.
That's right.
But this sets a bad precedent. We can't be in the pocket of big business.
We're not. We're not. But there's so many other shows. I figured.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm joking. But that's cool. We're going to talk off camera about that, off microphone. So I just want to talk a little bit because he's recently announced he's ending WTF, the most important podcast of all time. Mark Maron, then being the Oprah of podcasting, really in depth, smart, interesting interviews that aren't cloying, that aren't self serving, that aren't just puff pieces for whoever's the guest.
Yeah. And I feel like interviews that could be for everyone. Whereas like
Yes.
Joe Rogan, his podcast is definitely successful, but I can't listen to it. It's not for me.
Yeah, we're not the demographic for that.
I feel excluded from that. Not that I want to listen to it, but that's the point. Mark Maron's show, I feel like everyone can sort of participate in.
Yeah, I don't care who you are. You can go and look at his, like, what, 500 plus episodes or something, and find somebody that you like and that you've never heard interviewed that well before.
Right.
And so I just want to bring him up because the first time I ever saw him as an actor is a bit part in Almost Famous.
Okay.
He's the promoter who Russell gets electrocuted and they trash his dressing room and they drive through his gate
All
and
right.
he's like, lock the gates on these. And I was like, okay, that's a nice part. Anybody could have done it. But I really fell in love with his acting in Glow.
Mm.
He's really good in Glow.
I didn't know. I never watched it, so I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, he's good. And I pulled back of saying too much about him in Glow because, it's a woman-centric show and I don't want to praise the one man on it too much, but he's fantastic in that. In this, it's the best I've ever seen him. There's a world wariness to him that is a part of his comedy and always has been, but like he wears this character of Mitz so well. He's playing levels.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And shout out to the casting director because that is just really the best use of someone who they are naturally. Just such a great fit for a character.
Yeah, he didn't do anything. He didn't shave. He didn't gussy. He walked off stage, it seems, in the
Yeah.
stand-up club and walked onto this Winnebago. He's perfect.
And right for him, it's such a great performance with so many different layers and levels, and it could be a very thankless part, and it's really not. It's really one of the more special characters on TV right now.
It's true.
Extremely.
Yeah. And he plays a few. He's got one foot in Stick's world of golf. He's got one foot in the straight world. He just wants to like grill his steaks and live in his house where his wife passed away, be in his Winnebago where his wife passed away. Like it's a very sad, solitary existence now.
Well, he's not
And
stuck.
yeah, he
All
and
of
he and Price are both stuck
right,
in neutral.
right, and the kid too, though, because he's stuck in negativity. Having to do with his father.
I think all of the characters are having the loss of someone define them.
Hmm. The
You
men and
know, yeah, Santi's dad, his mom's husband, uh, Price's wife,
uh,
and child Jet, and Mitt's wife. Zero seems to have an absentee parent
yeah,
who she them had to deal with growing up. So I think it's a lot about loss.
yeah.
Uh, and the message is beautiful. The message is that other people can fill that void.
Right. And also that, you're not alone because everyone has their own thing. Everyone's going through something.
Yeah. And I know I've been guilty of this. You look at other people and you're just like, they've got it all figured out. They're not struggling like I'm struggling, and it's this thing where you see this duck just going along the water and you're like, oh, to be a duck. And you
Mm.
don't see under the water, the legs are furiously pumping. That's other people,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know?
We don't know. And obviously because of social media, everybody's life seems perfect.
It's a highlight reel. Yeah. And I mean, there are some people who post, about their struggle or whatever, but invariably then people are like, oh, suck it up. Come on. What do you like? It's terrible.
I know. Well, you can't win because if you post about your struggle, then you're doing it for attention. And if you don't, then you're suffering alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really, I don't know what the answer is.
It's true. So far, we've seen nothing but positives, but there is a black cloud on the horizon, a black cloud in the shape of a killer shark. No, it's Timothy Oliphant, who I love
He's
in
great.
everything. He's great. He was great in like the most recent thing I think I saw him in was a double dip of Fargo, followed by Daisy Jones and the Six.
Ah,
He was in there as road manager. Um, but his character, Clark Ross, is apparently the one who was the catalyst for Price's meltdown. And Mitch saw him on TV and it's like, that guy's an asshole.
Timothy Oliphant is going to come back. We're
He's
not
going to,
that little cameo.
I know. The second I saw it was him, I'm like, awesome. We're going to get to meet this asshole. And Elena picked it out. She's like, did what he said to Price, was that related to his son? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, then Dale. Just perfect.
I know. So when is the next episode? Is it today, you said?
I believe it's tomorrow, which will
Oh,
be Wednesday.
I
Yeah,
know.
I know, right? And I'm sorry to do that to you because you like all of the episodes to
I
air.
know. I know. Well, some things I'm letting play out in real time, but it's very few things. Usually I'll wait because then I just like a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the way it is now, you can watch something in between while you wait for your next episode.
Well,
And
that's true.
it's such a funny time to watch things, it's,
It's right. It's like the early days of television, right? We don't know really what streaming is going to be. It's still being figured out.
yeah. And like Netflix will drop a new movie and it's like a Netflix production. And I'm like, where are you making money? You're not making money in the theater. I mean, I know we're paying you all this money and it adds up. You're price gouging us for these streaming services, but like then you're putting it into I don't understand the new business model.
Well, I mean, they also have the ads now, so they're doing okay.
Yeah, that's yeah, I'm not crying for Netflix or any of these others. Is there anything else that you're currently watching that you're waiting for us
Um,
to jump into?
well, I don't know that we're going to jump into this, but I'm watching The Gilded Age. That just came back, and I love The Gilded
Oh,
Age.
I love Baranski, but I've never watched The Gilded Age.
Oh, it's so good. First of all, the actors on the show, I think just about every one of them, including all the guest stars, have Tony Awards. It's like the cream of the crop of New York actors. I
That's
love
heavy hitters, yeah. Doesn't it also have Caroline Coon, who we loved
it. Yeah,
in White Lotus?
I
Yeah.
noticed.
Carrie
Yes,
Coon, I'm sorry, yeah.
yeah, she's in that. And oh my God, Robert Sean Leonard was in it. Cynthia Nixon. So many. I could go on and on. Audrey McDonald.
Wow. That's how you get quality performances.
And it's
Yeah.
Julian Fellows is the creator, so it's just
Oh, right.
really quality. But it's not stuffy in the least. It's fun.
That's good.
It's really good. I know it sounds like this prestigious, boring show, but
It
it's
does. It sounds almost like Bridgerton without the music.
not.
Like,
Right. It's really, really good. And
oh,
Christine
that's good.
has these zingers that are so perfect. And, no one does a zinger better than her.
Yeah. Well, I love that era of New York too.
Yeah.
That's
But
fascinating.
there was a whole episode about building the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh, okay. You know how many people got the bends
Really?
making the Brooklyn Bridge? Yeah, a lot of deaths.
Wow.
Oh, they don't cover the deaths. Oh, that
No.
is so Gilded Age.
Did they cover the architect and how his wife had to take over and that actually
That's
happened?
right. Well, she did because he died of the bends.
Oh, see? So they do cover it.
They do. But I'm sure they don't talk about like the 100 workers that died of
Yeah.
it before him. Wow, that's cool. All right, maybe I'll dip my toe in the water. What are they? It's season 3 or something?
Just started on this past Sunday, season 3. So
Okay,
what
that's
about
cool.
you? What are you watching?
Well, we had a show come back that we are kind of addicted to. Don't judge me. It's the Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders, America's Sweetheart show on
What is it? I
Netflix.
keep seeing it pop up.
Oh my God, Eila. It's basically the kind of attention they normally give to sports. Like they just had a show where they were with the Boston Red Sox for a whole season. It's that kind of attention where you get to know the individual cheerleaders and their struggles and what they're up against and this kind of like perfection they're held to. Meanwhile, they're expected to hold down a job, pay for their own uniforms and the cleaning and upkeep. And it's fascinating. But anyway, there was this show about the DCC on like country music television for like 12 seasons. And we had watched that. But that was very much like enthralled to the Cowboys organization.
Uh-huh.
And the girls were just, you see what they go through and you're like, oh my God, that's icky. It's almost like the 50s, the way they treat these
Really?
girls. And then Netflix a year ago came out with a show that was very much girl centric and was very much on the side of the cheerleaders. And they cut away all of the kind of icky stuff of like them telling them they're too fat and them putting them on a diet regimen and them, it was terrible. And now like they just got a 400% pay raise. Long overdue, because everyone's on their side. Like social media has picked up. They were just in New York doing the Good Morning America show. Everyone has been a voice for them. And that's the only way they got changed, because they were like, we won't sign our contracts. And then the company was like, well, you don't have to sign them. If you show up, it means you're cool with the contract. Like, terrible.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. And we're just loving the new season. I know it's so good.
Okay. All right. It's not like a Real Housewives kind of thing.
Not in the least.
Okay.
It sounds like a guilty pleasure,
It does, but
and
it's
the original show was, but this Netflix one is just
all right.
beautiful. Yeah.
You know what I also watched that was excellent? The Barbara Walters documentary.
I haven't seen that yet. I was just talking about it last night and wondering like what it would be like, because there's so many like now problematic clips that emerge of her like saying really misogynist shit to Dolly Parton and other interviewees. But like I remember growing up in a house with three women, and the Barbara Walters specials were required viewing. And like she got people to cry. She would get things no one got from them. In her time, like she was such an icon.
Oh, for sure.
And the
And
shit she had to put up with, I'm sure, to get there in the male dominated society.
yeah,
Like,
she talks about how she was bullied by three anchors and she names them, Peter Jennings being one of them, which really surprised me.
wow.
Yeah. But whatever hasn't aged well, she was a trailblazer for women and only brought women to the forefront of news, where I don't know that they would have evolved into that if not for her. And it wasn't that, just her being in the job, it was her approach to the job. And so
Yeah.
it's fascinating. It's a really good documentary. Plus, there's a lot of clips that you've never seen before.
All right, I'm on board. And you know what? The problematic questions she asked at the time, I remember, were simply the questions of the time.
Right. Exactly.
The line was in a way different place than the line is today.
Oh, completely. You can't retro judge something by today's standards.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of like a documentary about beginnings, the Led Zeppelin documentary, did you watch that at all? Were they ever any kind of music that you were into at all?
No, no.
They weren't really one of my bands. They were a little too like, blues rock, white
Uh-huh.
boy music for me. But it was funny to me. I watched it and it was interesting seeing their childhoods and their early years. But it's called Becoming Led Zeppelin. And the funny thing is, it stops right before the third album, which is where my Led Zeppelin starts. Like the only music I like from them is from that point on. So it was just kind of funny to me. It's not required viewing, I'd say, because it's so obviously an authorized documentary.
Oh, okay. So that's kind of boring.
Very boring. You give me an unauthorized biography, I am glued to the set.
Right. Because then you're getting an honest.
Yeah, unvarnished take, and you're getting real talk from people. But this was like they were each sitting in a throne in like different rooms because they don't want to be together, obviously. And they're just all talking. So it was authorized, but there were some great clips. And I appreciated that it didn't have even one talking head from someone who wasn't in the band.
Oh, that is good.
I hate that.
I know.
Where it's like Bono, they cut to Bono and he's like, well, they were very important. It's like, yeah,
We
that's
know.
why we're doing this.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it's ever bad to have Bono on something, but still.
Right. But like or like Henry Rollins, you can't swing a dead cat without hitting the documentary that Henry Rollins was in.
Well, that's true. But he has a lot of insight into music.
Yeah, yeah.
I appreciate. But no, you're totally right. I don't. If I'm watching about one subject, I just want those people really.
Yeah. I don't like talking heads in a documentary. Like it almost ruins the Albert Brooks documentary where he talks to Rob Reiner. Like, just give me the clips and give me them in a booth.
Yeah.
That I want a supercut of that. But that rubs me the wrong way, the same exact way that when I'm watching a concert video, they cut to the audience.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, they're enjoying it.
We know.
Can I see the band? Yeah.
Right.
Like, I don't stand at a concert and I look at the guy
Look
next to me,
around. Yeah.
like idiots.
Right. I know.
All
I was
right.
just thinking about that Albert Brooks documentary yesterday because I was thinking how amazing that as a kid he impressed Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks so much that he got a career just because he was so talented.
So much so that they asked Carl Reiner, like on a TV show, who is one of the funniest people you know? And he's like, oh, the neighbor kid. He's,
Yeah, it's crazy.
oh my God.
I
So,
know.
but I mean, it just goes to show you, like, even when you go back, Nepo babies, and he was like the ultimate Nepo baby. He was the son of Park Your Carcass, this old Borscht Belt comedian. He was the brother of Bob Eisenstein, Super Dave Osborne. His best friend was Rob Reiner, whose dad was Carl Reiner, who was best friends with Mel Brooks. If you're inculcated in that little community,
Yeah.
good luck not having a career in comedy.
I know. It's hard, right? I know. But not everybody does, I guess. I guess there are kids who just didn't have that natural talent. I mean, Albert
Yeah.
Brooks, he proved himself, and Rob Reiner. But
Yeah.
but still, yeah, yes.
So
People
anyway,
think like you know, being a nepo baby just gets you in the door, but that's the hardest part, getting in that door. They don't realize.
I know. And I'm sick and tired of the whole argument of like, yeah, but once you get in the door, you need talent. Well, I've seen a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah.
Talent develop over time because a lot of people weren't that good when they started, but because
Yeah.
of who they were, they got
If
chance.
you sit anybody down, I don't care if you sit Tom Cruise down, he'll give you the same answers working actors today will. If you give him 3 questions, what's the hardest things to do? It'll be like, oh, get an agent,
Right.
uh, get an audition,
Right.
get a
When
part.
yeah.
Yeah, all of those things. Or, be Adam Sandler's daughters.
Right, right. You can't undervalue being in that position because
Yeah.
it's everything. It brings you to the front of the line.
And I mean, there are certain people who I'm just like, Susan Sarandon's daughter. I
Mhm.
love her. She's special. She has a quality.
Mhm.
Boom, approved. Like, if I hear they're a Nepo baby, I don't care if they're talented and they have something special. You can instantly tell,
Yeah.
you
It's
know, but not everybody does.
oh no, many don't.
um, Bringing it back
Oh, were
from
we
our
talking about a show? I forgot.
we were briefly talking about Stick. I highly recommend it. I would say if you're a fan of Ted Lasso, this is right up your alley. It's similar in tone. It's got a heart. It's about more than golf. Eila, would you approve this?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I didn't watch Ted Lasso, so I don't know about that. But yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not a sports person and golf is just a background for this story. It really has very little to do with golf. So you don't need to know anything about golf. You don't need to be a video golf expert like me to like this show. No,
Yeah,
I think it just if you like people, then you'll like this show because
yeah,
that's what it's about. It's about relationships.
very true. When are you turning pro with the video golf?
I have some offers.
I'd hate to lose you, but with your gift, you should really be on the pro circuit.
Yeah, the pro, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Where you
Uh,
only thumbs to play.
yeah. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Always. And I
And
wonder what we'll do next.
we have no idea.
Was the
We will
discussion.
we will discuss, but
Yes.
you people don't have to be in on this. Goodbye. It's good to see you, and we'll see you next time on Stream On.